All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Today, what we're going to go over, it's nice and simple and really short. I'm going to show you how to replace a green screen with any image that you want to use here in Premiere Pro. I am using CC 2019. And at the end of the video, I'm actually going to give you a little tip on how to add a second green screen. So we'll jump right into it. So I've downloaded a few templates. To make it nice and simple for the video, just know that this works with pretty much any green screen you have, but do make sure that whatever green screen you are using does have a good amount of light. Otherwise, it may not be able to pick it up and differentiate whatever's in the foreground from the background. To start, I'm just going to use my standard green screen. These are all still images, but a video versus an image using this method does not matter. It's the same method for both. What you want to be in the foreground is going to be first on the list. So I'll drop that in, and then I'll take whatever screen I want to use, and nice and simple, I can resize this second screen kind of however I want. And the best way to do that is you want to make sure that you're in editing. Once you're in the editing tab up here, you can actually go to effects control. Now this control will change attributes of your images over here. So simply I'm going to go to motion, and what that allows me to do is resize this image, and I can now upsize it. I just wanted to resize this to make sure it was the right size, but your video with the green screen will go on top like I said. And what you're going to want to do is over here in your control panel, you're going to want to find the effects tab. Once you're in the effects tab, you're looking for the effects ultra key. Very simple. I'll show you how to do this. And you're going to put the ultra key effect on the green screen. So once you've applied that, you're going to come up over into effects control like I showed you earlier in the editing tab. And I'm going to click this little marker here. If you have the hex key, you can go here and paste the hex key. If there's shadows, that can be extremely helpful because you'll get the exact hex key of the green screen. But in this case, it's fairly consistent. There are some light shadows, but I can just hit the dropper and that's going to color match for me. Bam, right there. So you notice all I did was use this, and it basically took that whole green screen and replaced it with my image. That may not be as consistent depending on the type of green screen you have. If you don't have proper lighting, it's going to pick up different greens, and it's not going to differentiate the different greens and leave some shadows. Now I'll tell you how to fix that real quick. So there's a couple different modes in the output in the settings here that sometimes just solve the issue immediately, and you don't really need to go any further. Composite is what you want to be on always. So if it goes to anything other than that, like alpha or color, just come over to composite. Under settings, you can actually change it a bit. If you're getting areas where it's dropping off, like if I had some shadowing under here, or still it was a bit green or blue, something of that nature, I'm going to come over to settings and I can get a little more aggressive with it. And as you can see, some of the lighting actually starts to shine through from the top photo. And if I want that lighting effect, I need to have an aggressive setting. If I don't want that lighting effect, I can go relaxed. And you can see it's actually starting to unfold some other shadows. So maybe some other lighting, that is. Maybe I do want the default because the default seems to keep an even lighting around here. But let's say I go aggressive because I want the lighting, but I'm still getting some noise and I'm still getting some shadows that I don't really like. Well, each graphic is different. So what I do here is not necessarily going to work for you. However, know that the settings are in these 4 menus here. You have matte generation, matte cleanup, spill suppression, and color correction. A little bit goes a long way using these settings. So you have your transparency. Pretty self-explanatory. You have your highlights, your shadows, your tolerance, and pedestal. So if I just pump this up a little bit, you can see that it's kind of taken away a little bit of that shadow and lighting on the left, but not doing much. So I'm going to move on, put it back down to 50. So if I was getting a lot of noise throughout here, I would use this matte cleanup to help kind of choke up that noise, those shadows, and help soften it up a little bit. Maybe add a little more contrast so it can differentiate the different colors. If I needed to kind of pull the midpoint, the mid levels up a little bit or down a little bit to match the rest of the green screen, well, I have it here. Spill suppression, that's for the green screen spilling into other areas of the actual image. Now, in this image, I don't really have that because there's not a person standing in front. There's not an object on the side. But if you start to get, green or the overlay picture here spilling into other objects, this is where you can fix it. Spill suppression. You can kind of desaturate, you can pull your range down, you can pull the spill down, and you can pull your lighting, your luma down. That way it can maybe pick up some of the darker areas a little bit better. And then we have color correction. Again, we're editing the main green screen, not the second image on this. Again, if you're getting issues of clarity, this is something you're gonna wanna kind of mess with and learn, so you can make little bits of changes here and there. Having a higher saturation might actually balance out some color in the green screen for you, but it may also take away from whatever you are filming at the time, whatever you're recording at the time. It could, if it's a person, if it's a product, if it's something like that, it could actually hurt you to lower or raise the saturation. So just be careful. Again, we have your hue, which is kind of your color tone. Luminance, pretty self-explanatory. It is your actual lighting. You can see that my lighting along the left there, doubling that luminance, has actually increased twofold. But if I want to get rid of that shadow without having to mess with the standard settings, if the standard settings are not working, I can come over here, I can go 50, and as you can see, I got rid of a good portion of that lighting over there, and you can really see the buildings in the background. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit further, and here we are. We have our green screen replaced with a nice studio looking background with a city that we're overlooking. And now I have a green screen TV. So if I want to replace that green screen TV, basically I'm going to follow the next steps exactly like I did the previous steps. But I have another video that I would like to import. And I'm going to chop it down a little bit. And bear with me while I do this. Okay, so I have my video in. I'm going to take away the audio because I don't really need it. And I'll come back over here into the control panel on the left-hand side, and I will go back to effects, and I already have it typed in, but we're going to grab the Ultra key one more time. I'm going to apply that to the secondary green screen, the one I used to replace the initial green screen. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the dropper again. And I'm going to drop this guy. Now, I've already kind of shown you this process, but as you can see, the screen is a little bit larger than what I want it to be. I want to show an actual image and the size of that image. So I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to come up to motion in my video effects. And as you can see, I am now able to change that size, edit it, move it around, and fit it in. You can kind of resize this to fit awkwardly, or maybe the green screen you're using has already accounted for the actual size of the video. But now look at what we have. We have a full studio setup with a green screen, using a green screen, and using different images, JPEGs and a movie. And if I hit play, you'll see that they'll drop away and all that's left is that one image. So we've not done any resizing here in this video. As far as, crop to fit, we haven't visually taken anything out. It's all 3 layers that work together to create a good studio. So that's my tutorial, guys. It's pretty simple. I kind of threw in some extra steps in there to help you guys out. One of the big things to remember is to have good lighting for your green screen. Don't, just throw a green screen up and shoot a video and try to do this afterwards. Test out the green screen before doing your video so you can replace the green screen with a quality image without getting a lot of feedback and noise and shadows and different lights. Test it out first. And that goes for anything video related. Test it out before you do it if you have not done it before. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your time and have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content. I will see you in the next video.